Good evening. Thank you all for attending today's meeting of the Santa Rosa City School Board. Opening this meeting Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. I have an echo. Uh-oh. Is that me? How's that? Still there?
Try turning down your speaker.
Okay, we will start our meeting with the territorial land acknowledgement, and leading us on the acknowledgement is Assistant Superintendent Rand Van Dyke. Turn it over to you, Rand.
Thank you, President Sheffield, and Board of Directors. I acknowledge that Santa Rosa City Schools is on the traditional territory and homelands of the Pomo people, traditional territory and homelands of the Coast Miwok people, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have stewarded it throughout the generations. This land acknowledgement calls us to commit to continuing to learn how to be better stewards of the land we inhabit. By offering this land acknowledgement, we affirm Indigenous sovereignty and will work to hold the Santa Rosa City Schools more accountable to the needs of the American, Indian, and Indigenous peoples.
Thank you, Rand. And we will continue to honor the past and the present for the future of this land and for our school community with respect and gratitude. All in attendance, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, well, let's get our meeting started. I'll begin with just sharing a few words. The pandemic has dramatically changed a lot of things in education. We've talked about the high rates of burnout at our schools, and we've also discussed turnover in staff and how these changes are occurring at a time when we need educators the most. The very important role of our educators, our classroom aides, our administrators, and our superintendents, now arguably more so than it has in a generation or two, matters a whole lot more. As we optimistically emerge from the pandemic, schools will need to have more reinforcements to help pick up the charge. We in the education community need to make significant investments in the future of our workforce. We need to be investing in the next generation if we're ever to break the cycle of education inequity. So tonight, let's ground ourselves in appreciation for our current educators, the battle-hardened warriors, and let's also pledge to support the next generation of educators. Last week, my niece, Kathy Ann Sheffield, defended her doctorate dissertation at the University of Houston's College of Education. The title of her dissertation is Equitable Learning Environments for High School Students of Color, Perceptions of School-Based Educators on Using Transformative Social Emotional Learning. That title just gives me goosebumps. Everyone in my family, we're all very proud of our niece, doubly so because first, she's already been carrying on a long legacy of educators in the Sheffield family, going back to her great-grandfather. And secondly, because she will also be helping close the gender gap and the ethnic racial gap in education. She's not tuned in tonight. She's not following our meeting, but still cheers to Dr. Kathy Ann Sheffield and gratitude and strength to her generation of educators. All right, for those following along, we are on agenda item C3, report of actions taken in closed session. There were none. C4, items considered in closed session for action in open session. There were none. C5, statements of abstention. Are there statements of abstention tonight? Seeing none. C6, adjustments to the agenda. Board Superintendent Turnell, any adjustments? All right, we will now take public comment on adjustments to the agenda for F items, the consent items only. Are there folks in-house wishing to make adjustments on our consent items? Seeing nobody in house, we'll open it up to those joining us remotely.
If there are members joining us on Zoom and would like to comment on our consent agenda, those are the F items, please raise your hand at this time. President Sheffield, I do not see any hands.
All right, we will bring it back to our next agenda item, C7, special presentation for Student of the Month and Certificated Classified Employees of the Month. Tonight, we have students, family, and school staff joining us for a special presentation of our Student of the Month and Certificated and Classified Employees of the Month recognition. The presentations this evening will honor our students for their academics, their character, and other praiseworthy accomplishments. We will also be honoring our certificated and classified employees for their outstanding dedication and service. So joining us for these presentations, we have Principal Sluter from Rincon Valley Middle School. Come on down, Principal Sluter. Welcome. Yeah, press the button.
Yeah, is that
perfect?
All right, thank you, President Sheffield and members of the board and Superintendent Trunell. I'm thrilled to be here tonight representing Rincon Valley Middle School. We do have 3 amazing individuals to present awards to this evening. First, I'd like to start with our Student of the Month, and her name is Momo Zing. I'm hoping that she'll be able to Zoom in with us. Her parents are very excited about her winning this award. Tonight is her first 8th grade volleyball game. She hasn't played this sport before, so she was hoping that she'd be able to do that and come here. So we'll see if she made it. Is she gonna make it?
Don't see Momo. I just got a hand raised.
Her mom might be Zooming in. Her name is Yuki.
Or Reto, maybe that's her dad?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yuki.
Thank you for your patience. Just a moment.
Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Is this for Momo Zing's award?
Yes, hi. My name is Reto. I'm Momo's dad.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, she's still at the game, so they're in the 3rd round right now. So I just wanted to say for Momo that she's very excited and very honored to receive this award and for being selected for this. And I think it's exemplary for her that she chose to go to the game because she committed to play in that team. And so
yeah, she sure did. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad you're on, so you can relate to her some of these kind words that I have to say about her and some of her teachers and her coach. So I'm happy to read her presentation now. I'm delighted to present Momo Zing as the Rincon Valley Middle School Student of the Month. Momo has many amazing qualities that but I would like to start with the fact that she is a spectacular student. She has maintained a 4.0 since she has become a Falcon and takes advanced English and math courses. For college, she would like to attend UC Davis. She is interested in biological and agricultural science. She enjoys working with animals and hopes to enter the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences at UC Davis when she graduates from high school. Miss Bathay, Momo, says Momo is a dream student. She is kind and respectful to her classmates and teachers. She is also a fantastic PE student. always working hard and setting goals for herself. I love seeing her bright and early during zero period every morning. On top of being an academic, Momo is also an amazing musician and photographer. She has played the clarinet for over 3 years. Miss Boulay, her music teacher, says Momo is a fabulous clarinet player and a great asset to the band. She is always improving on her instrument and putting her best effort. She models what it looks like to be prepared each day to class and excels in music. She is such a kind soul too. She never leaves the classroom without saying goodbye and thanking me for my lesson. This year, Momo is also part of the yearbook class. This is a new hobby for her, and so far she's loving it, and her photos are spectacular. I have no doubt our yearbook will look fantastic this year because of her contributions. This year, Momo is also trying a new sport. She has recently made the volleyball team. Her coach, Miss Woodbury, says she is the most determined girl I know. No matter how hard something is, she gives the most effort possible. This makes her coachable, which is what every coach wants. Overall, Momo is a well-rounded student. She excels in academics, but makes time for her personal passions. We are lucky to have her at Rincon and want to recognize her as the RVMS Student of the Month. Okay, and I am pleased to say that our next award winner is sitting here right next to me. I'd like to introduce Miss Dana Breedy. Tonight, it's also my pleasure to present this award to Dana as the Rincon Valley Middle School Classified Employee of the Month. Ms. Breedy has worked at Santa Rosa City Schools for 9 years. She started out in 2013 as a noon duty supervisor for both RVMS and SRCS, and then became an instructional assistant at RVMS in 2014. Dana is always willing to help and provide a positive response to the needs of others. She is deeply committed to her work and always goes above and beyond to help in any way possible. She takes incredible pride and responsibility with regard to her job and the impact it has on students and the learning community. Ms. Breedy has almost single-handedly supported the 80+ students in the special education program for over the last 2 years at RVMS as we continue to look for more instructional assistants. She is so skilled at her craft. Not only does she do it well, but she is a great teacher and trainer for our subs who she supports when teachers are out. I have no doubt that when we are able to hire an additional instructional assistant, she will be a terrific mentor too. Congratulations, Ms. Breedy. You are most deserving of this award.
Thank you.
Okay, the next award goes to our chosen teacher, and I'm wondering if she has joined us on Zoom.
Ms. Quayles has joined us. She'll be here in just one moment.
Okay. Oh, she's a piano lesson. Oh, there she is. Okay, last but not least, it is my great honor and privilege to present the RVMS Teacher of the Month Award to Lindsay Qualls. When it was announced to the staff and faculty at RVMS that Lindsay was selected for this award, many teachers stepped forward and asked if they could contribute their words for this presentation. This is a testimony to the fact that Ms. Qualls is seen in our community as a natural leader and a role model. Here is what some of her colleagues had to say about her. What I appreciate about Lindsay is that she is always looking for ways to improve our school. She is proactive. She is always looking for solutions. She wants our school to be the best that it can be. She puts the extra time in. I've appreciated her efforts with color teams to improve connections with students. She works hard inside and outside of the classroom. That was from Mr. Myers. Lindsay is a powerhouse of a person. She has the amazing ability to speak her mind even when it is an unpopular opinion, and I'm continually impressed by that. She is the outspoken advocate for the science department, and that's from Miss Sweet. Lindsay also is incredibly kind, funny, and helpful. She goes above and beyond when I need help as a new teacher, whether that be giving me written material or helping me find materials for labs. Congratulations, Lindsay, you deserve this. That's from Jackie. Ms. Ruiz said, I am so excited for Ms. Qualls to be recognized by her colleagues as an exemplary teacher in Santa Rosa City Schools. She has high expectations of her students and her staff community. She has so much integrity and is skilled at creating and carrying out engaging, fun, real-world science lessons for her students. Ms. Qualls is a leader in our school community for social emotional learning and health and sex education curriculum. Our community benefits greatly from her contributions. Her students are lucky to have her as she runs a highly academic yet fun classroom environment, and her students just adore her. She freely shares her expertise with colleagues and new teachers, and her impacts on RVMS and the greater education community will be felt for generations to come. Kudos to Ms. Qualls. I am thrilled beyond words to present this award to her. Ms. Qualls is our choice for the RVMS Teacher of the Month. Congratulations, Lindsay.
Well, thank you so much, Principal Schluter, and congratulations again to Momo, Dana, and Lindsay.
All right, thank you. I know we have our STPC president who's going to do her report, and also our SFPO president for SRCS is here.
Great.
They're both here to do their presentations, but I'd also like to introduce Miss Sarah Stathados. She is the new assistant principal at SRCS, and I don't believe she's had an opportunity to meet you yet, but she's here tonight in support of that program, and I just wanted to give her an opportunity to say hi to the board.
Welcome.
Should we stay? No, actually get a picture. Okay. Yeah. You're right now. Okay.
All right, we will move into agenda item C8, our school site parent organization update. And we have folks joining us, Amy from the STPC president and Kelly, the FFPO president. In-house.
President Sheffield, they are both joining us on Zoom.
Great, all right. Well, we will turn it over to Amy.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Welcome. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry I can't be there in person. My name is Amy Famini, and I am the president of the Student Teacher Parent Council at RVMS this year. This is my second year being involved in the board. I was previously board president at Whited Elementary in Rankin Valley, and have loved my time at Rankin Valley Middle, and will hopefully have another Falcon next year. Our STPC group has been very busy this year, and I just want to share a little bit about what we have been up to. Our board itself is very strong this year after having a few lean years with the pandemic. We actually have 10 board members, so we are our board is fully staffed with a great team of volunteers. We are in the midst of our annual family giving campaign, which is our primary means of fundraising to support all of the programs. And we are about 50% to our fundraising goal, which we're trying to get to $22,000 this year. So that's going pretty well. And the money that we're raising goes to many, many different things. I'm just going to give you a few highlights. This year, our focus is really on getting the kids comfortable with being back interacting with each other in person, and then also trying to get our Rankin Valley families back on campus as well. Just trying to build that sense of community and make those connections that unfortunately were lost during the pandemic. So in that vein, we're hosting several different community events. We've already had the first of several movie screenings that we're going to have throughout the year that are available to both parents, guardians, family members, as well as students that are focusing on like socio-emotional issues, technology, things that are challenges to our young teens in this world. So our first screening was Screenagers, and it was pretty well attended. And we're actually having a follow-up screening of Screenagers where families are coming with their teens, with their young middle schoolers, so that we can have a discussion afterwards. So that is something we're looking forward to. We're going to have a few other screenings of different like pertinent movies later on this year. We're putting together just a big party, really. We're doing a bingo and taco night. It's going to be a free of charge community event open to all of our Falcon families. We're hoping to get past Falcons. We're hoping to have future Falcons, as well as current students and their caregivers and families. And again, it's just about getting people on campus. We're going to provide some good food, provide some entertainment in the form of bingo with some prizes. And we're all really looking forward to seeing each other in person and connecting. We also are very involved in what's happening during the school hours. So we do whatever we can to keep our teachers feeling supported and happy. So a lot of that is in the way of food. We do a lot of teacher appreciation, staff appreciation, providing meals and snacks during in service before school even started. We provided dinner for them on back to school night, and we will continue to try to keep our teachers happy and well fed throughout the school year, as well as our classified support staff. We also support some of the awesome programs that make Rankin Valley Middle School the great place that it is, primarily color teams, intramurals, and Sportorama. Those are programs that basically the kids spend a lot of time during their lunches on doing fun, silly activities that really just promote bonding and a feeling of belonging and inclusivity. All leading up to one evening of Sportorama, which we had just a couple of weeks back, where the kids get to do tons of different fun activities. Parents get to come and cheer. And if you haven't been before, it's a blast. It's a wonderful experience, and STPC supports financially that program. We also support our color teams and intramurals. We have a new leader this year, and the teachers do a fantastic job spending tons and tons of hours putting those programs together for our kids. We also support whatever needs come up as the year, like throughout the year. Teachers are able to submit basically grant requests, and we are always trying to say yes. And that's why we work so hard on fundraising, because we want to always say yes. This year, we've already been able to approve quite a big stipend to our science department for them to purchase some new equipment, new microscopes, some of those bigger ticket items that that have just get a lot of wear and tear over the years. So we were super excited that we were able to gift them those funds. We also support Math Counts, which is a really fun after-school club for students who are mathematically inclined. We do campus beautification to help keep our campus looking nice and fresh. We have a Falcon High Flyer program that one of our board members runs, which is to recognize all of our students who've earned a 3.5 GPA or higher, which is hundreds of students. It's amazing. And they get a little certificate and a little coupon for a milkshake. We work with a local business. So we're up to lots of things. Mostly it's just about letting our teachers and staff know how much we appreciate them and recognizing our students for working so hard being back. After the pandemic, middle school can be a really hard time, but at Rankin Valley, our teachers do such a good job of getting our kids invested and involved and like proud to be a Falcon. So it's been really fun to be involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. I heard all about Sportorama, so it sounds like it was a lot of fun.
It's very fun.
Well, thank you so much for your report. All right, and we have Kelly Kane who just jumped on. Hello, welcome, Kelly.
Hi there. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
We can hear you. Ready for your presentation?
Okay, great. Good evening, Santa Rosa City School Board of Trustees, Superintendent Tranel, and community members. My name is Kelly Kane, and I'm the president of the Student Faculty Parent Organization, or SFPO, at Santa Rosa Accelerated Charter School, or SRCS, as it's sometimes known as. We like lots of acronyms at our school. I'd like to begin by saying thank you to the board and Santa Rosa City Schools for the opportunity to speak this evening. The school year is early, but we've been off to a great start here at SRCS. One of the most exciting things that happened this year was the grand opening of our first ever playground. It opened on the first day of school, and the SFPO has been raising money for years, so it's been really exciting seeing the kids enjoy the playground. One of the favorite parts of the playground seems to be this small vertical spinner. I mean, I don't know, always get surprised how many kids can be loaded up on that thing and it's spinning around, and there's a line for this spinner thing. So the spinner would probably make most of us on this meeting feel woozy and dizzy for the rest of the day, but the kids love it. So we may need to invest in another one. The SRCS, similar to what Amy said, the SRCS SFPO has been committed to building community within our families this year. We've held 2 campus cleanup days, a few dine and donates, and we recently held a family picnic game night. And then we just had our largest community event of the year and our first big fundraiser, which was on Halloween. We call this the Trick or Trot Walk-a-thon. The SRCS community really came together to donate tricks and treats to hand out at the event, and we had a large turnout of volunteers who had a great time helping out, so that was great. The event is a traditional walk-a-thon, but we add a fun obstacle course twist to it. So we have a hay bale hop, we have the limbo rather than limbo, it's a limbo, and then we have 2 zombie zones where the parents and the teachers and staff get to do various fun tricks on the kids. It was a great event and we raised over $16,000. And since we passed our goal of $15,000, the entire school gets a popsicle party the day before we leave for Thanksgiving. It's still early in the year still, but we plan to hold several more SRCS community-focused events, including dine and donates, class parties, and a few more game or movie nights. And we're considering bringing back our auction family dinner this year, so we'll see if we can pull that off in the spring. It's so rewarding to see the funds raised by the SFPO directly benefit our students. This year, our funding will go towards several field trips. We're excited to be bringing so many field trips back this year. An art program, classroom and technology requests made by our teachers, and our league champion girls and basketball teams. And the yearbook costs, we're going to cover the cost, so every student at SRCS will get a free yearbook once again this year. SRCS has a wonderful band and orchestra program. It's Miss Boulay. She's the same teacher at RVMS that Ms. Schluter mentioned earlier. And we do help support that program when there's additional instrument needs. And our funding also helps support our award-winning Lego Robotics and Odyssey of the Mind teams and provides small scholarships so that the 6th graders get to have the transformative experience of attending the Nature Bridge camp. They're very excited to be able to go to camp again this year, where students learn hands-on about environmental science while bonding with their peers. And these activities and accolades are among the many ways the staff, faculty, and the SFPO work together to create an inclusive, enriching environment for our students, and why I feel so very fortunate that both of my children have had the opportunity to attend school at SRCS. So thanks for your time and have a lovely evening.
Thank you, Kelly, for sharing with us all the great things that are going on at SRCS. And any SRCS parents out there listening, I apologize. My son tells me his favorite thing to do at recess is to spin the kids around and around on the spinning device until they're dizzy and fall down. So I'm sorry. That's just what he does. Thank you again. All right. For those following along, we are now on C9, our public comment on non-agenda items. I'm opening it up for public comment. I have a blue card in house from Tina Rogers. Tina? Welcome. And yeah, just press the button, turn that on.
To me. Good evening, everyone. Buenos tardes. My name is Tina Rogers, and I am here today to speak about something that's very, very important that's coming up, and it's the Sonoma County Martin Luther King Jr. birthday celebration. And it happens every year here in Sonoma County. We are in our 43rd year. It will be on Sunday, January 15th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. It will be Zoom and live. It will be held in Katati at Ner Shalom Jewish Synagogue, also known as Old Katati Cabaret. In the past, it has been held at Luther Burbank Center, Santa Rosa High School, the Veterans Memorial Building. And so we're happy to be back sort of on hybrid. I am representing all of my committee members, and I'm here tonight to speak to you, and I would like to say thank you, Superintendent, President, and trustees and members and community. We are really, really, really working so hard to bring our oratorical contest and also our poster art contest back here to the Sonoma County schools. And all schools in Sonoma County, the Rincon Valley and everywhere can participate. So the information that I'm talking about tonight has already went through Peach Jar. And Superintendent, I think you can have something that's coming to you directly also. And the rest of the community and teachers, you guys will be able to find that. Okay, we were looking for school contacts. So what we're doing this year for 2023, the theme is Power at its Best is Love, Implementing the Demands of Justice. The 7th through 12th graders have the opportunity to do an oratorical contest where they get to write their information. They also get to speak their information. And I will tell you in the past, Maria Carrillo has really been, doing a lot and winning, and also
Tina.
Elsie and Piner.
Tina,
So
I'm sorry to interrupt. Your 2 minutes is up. You can wrap it up if you can briefly.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to get more kids and more teachers and more schools interested in it. And so please look out for Peach Jar and any one of us from the committee that will contact you. Okay? Thank you. And
thank you so much.
Awesome. And so I have 10 seconds and I'll be back next month and make it a little shorter and see what I can talk about. Okay?
Thank you,
Great.
Tina.
All right, thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you, Tina. So put that on your calendars. We have Sunday, January 15th, 6:30 to 8, Zoom and live. So mark that on your calendars, and let's make sure we get the district to get that information out to families. Thank you. Have a good evening. All right, I do not have any other blue cards. Anybody in-house wish to speak on non-agenda items? We'll go to those joining us remotely, non-agenda items.
There are members joining us on Zoom remotely tonight and would like to comment on a non-agenda item. Please raise your hand at this time. Our first speaker is Shelby Pryor.
Hello, board. I know you guys love me calling in to give you commentary week in and week out of doing the same monotonous thing. So let's get to it. The Latinos being leveraged by individuals on this board to go ahead and be vaccinated is a very giant form of BS. We're sick and tired of having to go ahead and continue to look at the lame faces, hear the excuses, not have any transparency, and continue to go ahead and pretend that you guys are capable of leading the minority groups in our community. Luckily, the lovely lady who spoke just here recently brought some equity to this lovely board to go ahead and think about the fact that, hey, there's some other communities that aren't being represented. Mr. Everett, last time we had a conversation, this gentleman brought up the fact that, hey, there's only one pie. I'm glad that you can do math, because if there's only one pie, there's only so much for that pie to be distributed to other groups in the community. Let's talk about those things. I'm proud of the fact that this evening you guys brought forth something about Ruby Bridges. I'm glad that we're starting to see some equality and understanding what that looks like in our community. Let's go ahead and start divvying the pie to some of the least represented members of this community, Mr. Sheffield, and start representing the people you're supposed to represent. I understand we all have our differences and we have to come to some kind of agreement or understanding, but at this point, we need some real representation. Until we get that, you're going to continue to get me in your ear until we see that equality. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Pryor. Our next speaker is Maria. Maria, if you would please state your full name for the record.
Maria Posey. I'm calling in again. I still would love to hear answers of how come Adina Flores is still placed on leave, still no answers. And everything she has been talking about has come true. I'd also like to point out that there was an email that was sent out on 2/22/21 that Ms. De La Cruz was a part of, and it clearly stated that the jabs could not be mandated because they are emergency use authorization. Considering she's part of this board and teachers were affected by this, students are still having it pushed on them. Masks are considered emergency use authorization. There should be no push for that ever again in the schools until something has been FDA approved. And even at that point, who knows if it's even any good at that. Teachers should not be being pushed to get a booster because regardless of even if they came out with Comirnaty, the booster part of it is still emergency use authorization. This is something Ms. De La Cruz knows about. She's known about it for sure on piece of paper that we can show you 2/22/21. So it would be great if you guys actually started doing your job, or maybe some of you need to step down.
Thank you, Ms. Posey. President Sheffield, I don't see any other hands raised.
All right. Well, thank you all who spoke with your issues and your concerns. We are moving on to our D items, our reports. D1 and D2, we're going to have reports at our next meeting. So no reports this evening from CSEA or SRTA. So we're on D3, our superintendent report. Superintendent Trunell.
Thank you. Good evening, President Sheffield, members of the board, those who are with us in person, online. Today marks day 64 of the 22-23 school year. I am excited to share the preliminary results of the election outcome for general obligation bond measures C and G. To pass, we needed to have at minimum 55% of the voters to vote yes on each measure. Currently, measure C is showing a 64.14% yes vote outcome, and measure G is showing a 68.51% yes vote outcome. We are so grateful to the many people and organizations who supported these measures and ultimately the voters who voted yes to pass these measures. We will begin work soon on next steps regarding these bonds. I also want to mention congratulations preliminarily to Trustee Omar Medina for the voting outcome to remain in his Area 4 seat. Congratulations to Trustee Stephanie Manieri, who will retain her Area 6 seat. And congratulations to what will be our newest board member, Roxanne McNally, in her election to the Area 2 seat. Many thanks to Trustee McCormick for all of her years of service, and we look forward to celebrating you soon at a future board meeting. We look forward to December 14, where these trustees will be sworn in for their terms of office. Also, I do want to mention that we are tentatively planning, I say tentative because it is not official till we post that agenda, tentatively planning November 16 to be a special board meeting study session. It is going to be focused on district-wide data, and it will be held at the Santa Rosa City Schools boardroom at 211 Ridgeway Avenue. There will be limited in-person seating, but we will offer a hybrid option. And so we hope that you will tune in, and more information to come when we post the agenda. And with that, I hand it back to you, President Sheffield. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Trunell. And as the superintendent pointed out, with all numbers, signs pointing to a favorable passage of our school bond. And with also the preliminary numbers, again, I just want to congratulate Omar and Roxanne and Stephanie. And thank you again for your dedication and your service. And my board reports, not much to report, but on Monday, I did join Superintendent Trunell and her team and Dr. Clissold and students and staff from Santa Rosa High and a couple of other board members at the ribbon cutting ceremony for the brand new ag facility barn. This was just a beautiful facility. The design, the architect just did an amazing job, and just want to thank everybody for being a part of this, years in the making. The barn rebuilt after the Tubbs fire. And then a thank you, a huge thank you to Rayleigh's. It was 500,000. Is that they helped start this the rebuild process, and we couldn't have done it without them. So I just wanted to thank those members. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's a beautiful, beautiful facility. So I will now go to D5, our board member reports. Board members reports. I see Trustee Fong.
I'd like to let you guys know that I've been visiting ethnic studies classrooms across the district. So I want to thank our principals for helping with that. Also Assistant Superintendent Castro for overseeing that, and our teacher on special assignment, Heather Rossi, for also doing that. And also teachers James Kowalczyk, Jennifer Griffiths, Holly Retzinger, Tomas Salinas, and Amy Stevens, the teachers I've gotten to see so far. I'm looking forward to seeing math, social justice, also ethnic studies, dance. So we are doing ethnic studies in a fabulous way. I want our board to know that, and I also want our public to know that. And I'm also kind of working with the California Department of Education to really make sure that ethnic studies is implemented across the state well. There's a lot of fear about it. There are a lot of misconceptions about it. And we are doing such a good job. When I'm talking to the kids who tell me how affirming it is to be in these classes, how they get to be rooted in their cultural wealth, and they're using that language from our vision and mission. And they're feeling good about what they're doing. They're feeling good about themselves, and no one feels like a victim, and no one feels like an oppressor. So, you know, some of the stories across the state where, you know, ethnic studies is bad, and just in talking to our students, it's a good thing to see kids happy and engaged in themselves and feeling confident in themselves and finding their purpose in their place. So it's a beautiful thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing a few more classes. Thank you, everybody, for doing such a good job in this district. Superintendent Trinnell for overseeing this. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Fong. Other board members' reports? All right, seeing none, we are going to move on to D6. Do we have a CSBA report?
Yeah, just briefly, I just want to mention that the CSBA conference will be in San Diego this year at the end of this month, and I believe the entire board will be attending. And I look forward to this year's, I think we all look forward to this year's conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Flores. All right, D7, unfortunately, we are having to reschedule this agenda item for a future meeting. So we are going to move on to our discussion action items. And we will start with E1. This is an action item, a resolution recognizing Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. The board will consider approval of a resolution number 2022-2329, recognizing November 14, 2022 as Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. I'm very excited for this resolution because I don't believe the district has ever done anything recognizing Ruby Bridges. So we have joining with us, Christina Panza. How are you? Nice to see you.
Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. I know Anna said that we were joint presenting, so I don't know if Anna, you want Superintendent Trinnell, that is. Do you want me to start out? I just, for all of those of you who may not know who Ruby, I'm sure all of you on the board know, but just for anyone listening that might not know who Ruby Bridges is, she stepped into the history books in 1960 when she integrated William Franz Elementary School in New Orleans at the age of 6, becoming a national icon for the civil rights movement. And Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day originated with kids, with students, a group of elementary school AAA safety patrollers from Martin Elementary in South San Francisco learned about Ruby Bridges and her courage and bravery, and decided, this is about 4 or 5 years ago, decided there should be a day to commemorate the movement she started. They had a Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day at their school. It spread to their district. And then they went to the state legislature to propose that the state do a resolution to declare Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. And in 2021, the state of California declared November 14th as Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day in California. Now schools, since those kids started that movement, San Mateo County, other counties all over the California, schools have taken on Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. And this year, the Sonoma County Safe Routes to School program decided to take it on as one of our challenges and one of our months. It's the month of November, obviously, and we invited schools to participate. And we also connected schools with AAA's Ruby Bridges grant and registration program. So schools that registered with AAA received a kit to help celebrate the Ruby Bridges Day with buttons and a banner and posters and stickers and hats even. And they also offered a grant program. Schools could apply for money to help celebrate their Ruby Bridges Day. And a number of Sonoma County schools, we had about 30 schools register in the county, and a number of them also applied for grants and received funding. In Santa Rosa City Schools, Proctor Terrace, Santa Rosa Charter for the Arts, Monroe Elementary, Hidden Valley Elementary, and Piner registered for the day, all received kits as far as I know. And Proctor Terrace, Monroe, and Hidden Valley all applied for grants and received them. So they'll be able to use that funding to help celebrate their day. Kind of different things, like whether it's like extra purple t-shirts or food for the day, or I have a school that's purchasing books for their library that will help educate students about Ruby Bridges and equity and diversity. So we really hope that more schools in Santa Rosa City Schools will celebrate Ruby Bridges Day in the future. And also it's a walk to school day, but it's also a day of dialogue for schools. We have a Ruby Bridges event page and a website that has resources for schools, a Ruby Bridges song, Ruby Bridges lesson plans. We did a bingo challenge, which schools can distribute to their students, which is about learning about Ruby Bridges, but also learning about how to be safe and be seen while you're walking to school or to anywhere. I handed out to all of you a poster. We partnered with the Sonoma County Library this year to do a Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day poster contest. And this is the winning poster from a high school student. She's from Cloverdale, Laurel Jean H. And she designed this poster, and we printed it for y'all and for our participating schools, and it'll be up in the library, and the library is going to do bookmarks, and they have displays on Ruby Bridges as well with books. So we're just really excited to celebrate Ruby Bridges this month and encourage students to walk to school and to anywhere.
Thank you so much, Tina, for joining us this evening. Sorry, I was kicked off of the internet and everything else, so
it's okay.
I appreciate you starting us off. I'm so honored that we are bringing this forward as our inaugural resolution. Several of our schools have been observing the Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day, and this effort really is in alignment with our district mission and vision to be able to acknowledge our community and to celebrate the diversity that we have and acknowledge really what started in the Bay Area from a group of fifth graders who were learning about Ruby Bridges. I'd like to play a video, a short video that is from your website.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, my internet will cooperate. I think I've pressed all the things.
Ruby Bridges, a beautiful soul that desegregated schools at the tender age of 6. She is to be celebrated for her pride, strength, and resilience. Ruby Bridges. Ruby Bridges.
That's right, first day made history, so we should celebrate her too.
The question that I asked was, is there a Ruby Bridges Day? We wanted to create the day because we thought it was important to show how history has helped us come together. Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day is a very important day to me because it supports diversity in our community.
We want to make Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day nationwide.
I feel like the power of everybody walking to school is that
we're a community no matter what, that we're all together no matter what happens, and we're going to stand behind each other. I got to meet Ruby Bridges, and when I got to get close to her and hug her, get to talk to her a little bit, it made me so happy that we did something. And I know we could go farther and farther into life, that we could do more. We can continue to educate students from elementary school to high school about all our different cultures, ethnicity, so that we can understand each other and learn from each other and love each other. Ruby Bridges, she was only 6, and she made the whole world change. So if one person can make the world change, then if we all got together, imagine what we could do to the world.
What I learned about the power of a question is that asking one simple question could lead to the biggest movement of your life.
Walk with pride, come on, head held high. You can change the world. Yep. She was only 6, and people hated on her because the color of her skin. But
Thank you for this opportunity to bring this resolution forward. I hope that in future years, we will have our own students sitting here speaking on behalf of our district and how this amazing movement is touching their lives and that of our community. And with that, I hand it back to you, President Sheffield.
Thank you. Thank you, Tina. And thank you, Anna, for playing that video. She was only 6 and she made the world change. I want to thank you, Tina, and thank Safe Routes to School and the Bicycle Coalition for helping us celebrate this great day. And board, do you have any questions? This is an action item. Anything you want to add, say? Yes, Jill?
I just can't let this opportunity go by, and that is in the spirit of Ruby Bridges and this day. I think this again brings to the forefront the issue that we have about students transferring in our district and not going to their neighborhood schools, and therefore walking to their neighborhood schools is an issue. Transportation's an issue, and some people are going to schools so far away that they literally cannot walk to them. So I just want to say, in honor of Ruby Bridges Day and this resolution, that I think it's really important that we think about that and that we support our community in ways that encourages people to attend and support their neighborhood schools and the schools that they live next to, and that they're a part of that community, and they are aware of each other, and they do things like walk to school in honor of Ruby Bridges. So with that, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the resolution recognizing November 14th, 2022 as Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day.
Second.
We're going to hold the motion though. The motion from Trustee McCormick, seconded from Trustee Flores. Trustee De La Cruz, you have something to add?
Yeah, I just had a question. I love this, and I'm super grateful for the ways in which different sites have kind of lifted up the challenge. But I'd love to hear more about how we're building this into curriculum and to learning. And if we have kind of teachers who are championing this effort to get kids to think in such a beautiful way about their privilege that comes from the deep challenges that Ruby Bridges and her family suffered to bring justice, and not just diversity, but justice into our public school system as a country. So I'd just love to hear a little bit more about kind of the curriculum that we know will be happening, rather than, I think it's awesome that there's a website that people can go visit, but how are we really connecting the dots between this resolution and what happens inside of our classroom? And I love Trustee McCormick's question, which I think is an excellent one for our students to ask themselves. Where is my neighborhood school? Why am I not going to my neighborhood school? How powerful would it be for our kids to really, ask those questions of themselves? And it contributes to not only justice, but also meeting our climate change goals. So it has multiple benefits to think about, the possibility of having all of our kids, be thoughtful about how to honor Ruby Bridges and her family.
That's such a good point, Alegria. And I have to say that this being the inaugural Ruby Bridges Day, we have yet to find out exactly how our schools will be celebrating curriculum-wise. We know which schools have registered. We know what they're doing for the most part for their walking events. Like we have schools meeting up and walking, wearing purple shirts and walking to school together. We have very much encouraged a day of dialogue. That is the resources we have on our website. The communications we've sent to our school champions has encouraged that. But I think it's going to take some time to build into that beyond just doing a walk to school day. Although we do know some schools, not necessarily in this district, but I do know of a couple of schools, Cinnabar Elementary in Petaluma, for example, is doing a day of dialogue. So that is absolutely something we encourage. And I do want this to be deeper. I hope for, in the future that this will be deeper than just like a walk to school day, that it really, is embraced by teachers, is embraced by school administrators and parents, even to educate their kids about Ruby Bridges and also about equity and diversity and all the topics that you just brought up.
And I will add that we'll gather some information for you to understand how we're incorporating this into our elementary and our secondary schools. It is embedded in the history, social studies, and Common Core curriculum and Common Core standards that we could utilize literature such as the Ruby Bridges story. And so we can gather additional information on artifacts and how we're actually doing that.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Turnell, because I think that really is where the rubber hits the road in this, take that analogy and kick it to death. So thank you very much for following up in quite that way. And Tina, thank you so much for your work, because it is, really connecting those dots from the insides of, what our kids are learning and thinking about to community-based organizations on the outside that really lift up those values that are important to us as a community. So super grateful for your partnership here. And I'm super psyched to get my purple t-shirt on Monday and walk my kids and all the kids in our neighborhood to school proudly, and hopefully have great conversations on the way there that will continue for the whole day, if not forever and ever.
Thank you. And for anybody watching, for more information about the Sonoma County Safe Routes to School program, our ongoing challenges, and Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day, visit sonomasaferoutes.org. That's where you can access the Ruby Bridges page, our article on that website, and then also link to our Ruby Bridges event page, which has the lesson plans and the videos and the other things like that on it.
All right. Well, great questions, board. I'm going to open it up for public comment. I do not have a blue card. Any folks in house? Seeing none, we'll go to folks joining us remotely to comment on E1.
There are members joining us on Zoom and would like to comment on item E1, resolution recognizing November 14th as Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. Please raise your hand at this time. Our first speaker is Christina L. Christina, if you could please state your full name for the record.
Hi, my name is Christina Little. I was just listening to the previous speaker comment on the Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day, and I found it quite odd. Why aren't we going to schools in our own neighborhood? Many of these children have dual homes. They have homes that are in two different neighborhoods. So half the children, their parents aren't even married. We come from such a diverse situation. It's kids can't walk to school like that anymore. Not all of them. So I don't think you've taken that into consideration. I'd also like to wonder why Mr. Omar received a $1,000 check from the, the Santa Rosa Teachers Association? Yeah. Isn't that a conflict?
I'm going to cut you off for a moment. We're speaking on agenda item E1.
And sir, I'm
agenda
sure
item E1, please.
You should be looking at conflict of.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Maria. Maria, if you can please state your full name for the record.
I want to touch on the same thing that Christina was saying. Kids do live in two different homes. And so bringing that on kids is not the teacher's place. Don't put anything on kids that has to do with the schools. A lot of parents have their kids in other schools because they don't want them in that one school. Look at what's wrong with the school and why kids are leaving it. They're leaving it because people like you are not governing it correctly. I think this is a great event. You guys are finally doing something that's actually going to be productive and throw some history into it. But putting anything on kids and why they don't walk to school, another thing is a safety issue. We're really not in the safest area right now. I mean, how many times have we gotten something showing up that a child was harassed on the way to school? So don't put that on kids. That's a parent's thing. Just make this a fun event, but nothing else should be put on the children, period.
Thank you. President Sheffield, I don't see any other hands raised.
All right, we will bring it back to the board. We have a motion from Trustee McCormick, seconded from Trustee Flores. Any further questions or discussion, board? All right, we are ready for a vote.
Director Bowie.
Aye.
Director McCormick.
Aye.
Director Flores.
Aye.
Director Manieri.
Aye.
Director De La Cruz.
Aye.
Director Fong.
Aye.
Director Medina.
Aye.
President Sheffield.
Aye. All right, the motion passes. Well, thank you again, Tina. Always nice to see you.
Thank you again so much.
All right, we are going to move on to agenda item E2. This is an action item. The measures I and L Citizens Oversight Committee Annual Report and Audit Report. The board will consider acceptance of the measure I and L annual and audit reports. The annual report covers the 2021 calendar year, and the audit report covers the 2021 fiscal year. And speaking on this agenda item tonight, we have Luz and we have, wait, hold on. And we have, well, we don't have, do we have Luz joining us?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
I'm here.
And we have Eric and Jenny. Hello, welcome.
Good evening, all. This is an item that is a pleasure to bring forward to you. This is an annual item that we bring to the board to share the work of our Measure I and Measure L Citizens Oversight Committees. The board item, I'm going to note, includes 4 reports. 2 audit reports for fiscal year 2021, one for Measure I, one for Measure L, as well as 2 annual reports for the 2021 calendar year, again, one for Measure I and one for Measure L. With us this evening is the co-chair of our Citizens Oversight Committee, Jenny Bruneman, who is going to be presenting this item on behalf of the Citizens Oversight Committee. And I will pass it to Ms. Bruneman.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here this evening. Little odd to be back in these chambers. I was the director of facilities for this district for 8 years. So I am intimately qualified to be on this committee. And it's a pleasure to be before you tonight to present to you all 4 very detailed audits that we read very thoroughly and had no findings. And the entire COC has reviewed those, walked through them with district staff. We've also met and reviewed multiple processes for how those projects are proceeding forward. The district has been extremely transparent and forthcoming with pictures and detailed information. So we feel very, very, very informed. And we are presenting those annual and financial audit reports for your review and approval tonight. It's been a pleasure to serve on this committee and to hear about all the good facility things that are happening. I'm very excited for your future bond measure and crossing my fingers that those numbers don't dip because those facilities are in desperate need of repair. And I look forward to continuing on this committee in my capacity as co-chair. Happy to answer any questions, but really pleased to present these audits with you. And thank you, Luz, for your time and explanation, and Eric as well.
All right, board members, do we have questions this evening? This is an action item E2. All right, I'm seeing no hands. All right, well, we're going to open up for public comment on agenda item E2 only. Agenda item E2, I do not have blue cards. Folks in house. All right, opening up to those joining us remotely for agenda item E2 only.
If there are members of the public joining us on Zoom and would like to comment on item E2, that is the Measure I and L bond and audit report, please raise your hand at this time. President Sheffield, I do not see any hands raised.
All right, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion, further questions, or a motion. I see Trustee McCormick.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve E2 and accept the Measure I and L Citizens Oversight Committee annual reports and audit reports.
Second that.
All right, we have a motion from Trustee McCormick, seconded from Trustee Fong. We are ready for a vote.
Director Bowie.
Aye.
Director McCormick.
Aye.
Director Fong.
Aye.
Director Manieri.
Aye.
Director De La Cruz.
Aye.
Director Flores.
Aye.
Director Medina.
Aye.
President Sheffield.
Aye. All right, the motion passes. Before you leave, Jenny, just want to thank you so much for your expertise, your dedication. You're willing to do this. You're doing it for the next generation. So much appreciate you.
It's the sexiest committee ever. We need more members. That's my shameless plug. We need more members. Contact us. We need you and we want you.
All right, you hear that? We need more members. And thank you, Eric, and thank you, Luz. All right, we're on agenda item E3. This is an action item, the establishment of the annual organizational meeting of the Board of Education. The board is asked to establish the annual organizational meeting of our Board of Education. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this item. This is an action item, but I'll get to the action part of it. So under the provisions of Education Code Section 35143, in an election year, the governing board, our Board of Trustees, is required to set an annual organizational meeting within 15 days of the second Friday in December. Therefore, this organizational meeting must be held between December 9th, 2022 and December 24th. So we need to have this meeting between the 9th and the 24th in December. The day and time of the annual meeting are to be selected by the board at its regular meeting held immediately prior to the first day of the 15-day period. So that's where we are this evening. And this action item is to confirm a date for the annual organization meeting. The proposed date for this meeting is Wednesday, December 14th, 2022. We have it at 6 o'clock. I don't know if we have to be specific on the time, but we definitely need to be specific on the date, Wednesday, December 14th, at the regularly scheduled board meeting. So the proposed December 14th date is what we are voting on tonight. Do we have any questions for clarity on this? We're just looking to put something on the calendar. All right, well then, we'll open up for public comment. Folks in house, blue cards? Nope, okay. This open it up for public comment to those joining us remotely on agenda item E3 only.
There are members joining us on Zoom and would like to comment on item E3. Please raise your hand at this time. President Sheffield, there are no hands raised.
All right, we'll bring it back to the board, seeking a motion for agenda item E3. All right, Trustee Medina.
Yeah, I'd like to move that we establish December 14th, 2022 as the annual organizational meeting of the Board of Education.
Second.
All right, the motion is from Trustee Medina, seconded from Trustee De La Cruz. All right, we are ready for a vote.
Director Bowie. Aye. Director Medina.
Aye.
Director De La Cruz.
Aye.
Director Manieri.
Aye.
Director Fong.
Aye.
Director McCormick.
Aye.
Director Flores.
Aye.
President Sheffield.
Aye. Okay, the motion passes. Wednesday, December 14th, we will have our annual organizational meeting of the board. All right, and now we are on E4, our public board meeting via teleconference per AB 361. The board will consider the continuance of conducting public meetings virtually, including the use of a hybrid model as allowed in Assembly Bill AB 361. I turn it over to you, Superintendent Trunnell.
Thank you, Board President Sheffield, members of the board, those who are with us in person and online. This is a standing item that we've brought back each time to stay within compliance, as the board has been routinely considering the ability for people to attend virtually and have a hybrid option. And so tonight, again, bringing forward this item for your consideration in order to continue that for another 30 days. And with that, I hand it back to you, President Sheffield.
All right, board members, questions?
I'd like to move. No, we're taking public comment first.
That's great.
I'd like to move to continue conducting public meetings virtually, including the use of a hybrid model as allowed by AB 361.
Second.
All right, the motion was from Trustee De La Cruz, seconded from Trustee McCormick. We'll put that on hold. We'll take public comment. No blue cards. Folks joining us remotely.
There are members of the public joining us on Zoom and would like to comment on item E4. Please raise your hand at this time. President Sheffield, there are no hands raised.
All right, back to the board. We have a motion from Trustee De La Cruz, seconded from Trustee McCormick. I believe we're ready for a vote.
Director Bowie.
Aye.
Director De La Cruz.
Aye.
Director McCormick.
Aye.
Director Manieri.
Aye.
Director Fong.
Aye.
Director Flores. Director Medina.
Aye.
President Sheffield.
Aye, motion passes. All right, we are now on to our F item. So seeking a motion for approval of consent items. Trustee McCormick.
Move to approve items F2 through 12.
Second.
All right, the motion to approve F2 through 12 from Trustee McCormick, seconded from Trustee De La Cruz. Ready for a vote?
Director Bowie.
Aye.
Director McCormick.
Aye.
Director De La Cruz.
Aye.
Director Manieri.
Aye.
Director Fong.
Aye.
Director Flores.
Aye.
Director Medina.
Aye.
President Sheffield.
Aye. Okay, the motion passes. We are on our G items. All right, approval of minutes of the regular board meeting held on October 26, 2022.
Move to approve G1, approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting held on October 26, 2022.
Second.
All right, Trustee McCormick with the motion, and Ever, I'll give it to you with the second. We are ready for a vote.
Director Bowie.
Aye.
Director McCormick.
Aye.
Director Flores.
Aye.
Director Manieri.
Aye.
Director De La Cruz.
Aye.
Director Fong.
Aye.
Director Medina.
Aye.
President Sheffield.
Aye. All right, motion passes. H items, board member request for information. Board members, any requests for information? All right, seeing none. Information items, I listed in the agenda packet. And lastly, before we adjourn, Superintendent Trunnell, any last minute announcements?
So much, everyone. We know that this is really an abbreviated agenda, comparatively speaking, but we hope that you will be able to regain some of your evening back. And thank you to this board for all that you do.
Thank you, Superintendent Trunnell. And to the public, we will see you soon. Same bat time, same bat station. Meeting adjourned.